Hi, this is Emily Hearn, and you're watching Austin Underground.
I'm gonna have my hurts, but it's the treasure of my life. Just to spend it by your side. I know I will.
It's been awesome. It's been a brand new experience for me because I've actually never toured nationwide before. I'm from Athens, Georgia, so I've done a lot of Southeast touring and I've toured on the East Coast, but I haven't been out to the West Coast at all. And so this is actually only my second time to Texas, my second time to Austin. And the last time I was here, I was in Austin. So I'm really excited to be here. I love this place. Oh, it's awesome. It's so fun. To me, it's the dream come true because I always wanted to work with my husband. I don't know why. It was just always kind of a dream of mine. And when I met Michael and we started dating and I found out that he could like sing and play piano and bass and all these different things, we kind of had, we experimented first. We played and he actually had the same dream that I did. So I didn't push him into it, but he loves it and he's really talented. And I think that he makes me a better writer. For the longest time, I wrote by myself. And so I definitely liked that experience and that's what I knew for the longest time. But co-writing with Michael has been a really cool process where I kind of learned to consider other perspectives besides just, like a 25-year-old female perspective. We kind of bridge a bigger gap and maybe reach a different audience. And so this new record that I just put out is called Hourglass, is largely the two of us writing songs together, and I like it so much more than any of the other albums I've done. I'm so much more proud of it, and I'm really excited to share it.
'Cause I can't bear to witness my parents age so fast. They were way too young to fly home.
Oh, it's been awesome. The last time that I released music was actually in October of 2 years ago, and it was an EP called Promises, and it did really well. It was really fun, but it was only 5 songs, so it wasn't as much of an investment. And when we went in to work on this album, Hourglass, we ended up recording 12 songs. It took longer, it took more energy and effort putting into it, and it's gone over really well. We've actually been playing the songs since before we released the album, but this is the first time touring and being able to play these songs and have the album to sell to people, and it's been going great.
He's gonna live his life to keep the promises he made. Even though he makes mistakes, I know he's ready.
When I first started writing, I had no clue what I wanted to write about. All I knew is that it was time for new music, and so I just kind of set out aimlessly writing while I was on tour. And for all of January and February of 2014, I kind of wrote songs that I didn't like. For some reason, I just couldn't fall in love with the song that I wrote. And I remember having a week off when we were in Michigan. We were staying in Interlaken at a friend's house, and so we had about a week of downtime, no shows, and a chance to actually sit down and really reflect and write. So I remember Michael came to me and he had this really beautiful melody idea for a song, and so I heard that, and for some reason immediately it clicked in my head, and I just started writing this song that later became The Oak Tree. And once we had written that song, everything kind of fell into place. We kind of knew that the whole album would be about growing pains, if you will, like growing up and knowing that you need to be on a path and that you have somewhere that you want to be, but not exactly knowing how to get there. So that's what it's all about. It's different every time. I feel like a lot of it depends on kind of where I am. So if I'm having some time off at home, then I definitely just sit down in my writing room in the morning with a cup of coffee and a candle, and I just turn on the record mode on my iPhone and start jotting down ideas. But if we're on tour, it's different. I have to work harder to be inspired. So I remember one time we had a day off in Springfield, Illinois, and we sat down. I was not feeling inspired at all. I didn't want to write, but I ended up pulling out the iPad, and we have GarageBand on our iPad, and so I just made a little loop, a guitar loop, and started singing along to it. I had no clue what I was singing about. It was, the end of winter and the beginning of spring, and I just started singing about needing winter to be over and needing to start something new. And it became the first track on the album. It's called Waking Up Again. So it happens in all sorts of different ways in all sorts of different places. Really no formula.
I'm treading water, I'm trying to keep my head above the ground.
Yeah, I think that being shy, like being introverted versus being extroverted, is a personality trait that shouldn't limit or change what you can do. I think, like, I'm shy and I'm introverted, and I've learned that I have something to say and I have people that want to listen. So even when I feel really shy and nervous, I've gotten to learn the lesson of overcoming the fear of what haters will say. There's always going to be haters and there's always going to be people who love it. And so you can't perform in fear of people who won't like what you do. You just have to be confident and be who you are. I think that's what everyone was meant to do. And so that's been a really important lesson for me to learn, and my main message that I would share with other up-and-coming artists or up-and-coming anything, no matter what you want to do, just learning to be yourself and embracing that is the most important.
We've gotta go, we gotta get back, gotta get our feet back on the ground.
It was crazy. It was so awesome. We actually have a mutual friend. So my friend Mark Bryan, who lives in Charleston, South Carolina, was helping me coordinate this music video, which was my first ever music video, and I was already kind of nervous. And I remember he told me the night before, by the way, we might have a celebrity guest. And I was like, who? And he said, yeah, I'm friends with Bill Murray. Who knows if he'll be able to make it out? You never know what he wants to do. But I invited him. We actually left your CD on the doghouse that's on his porch, and he texted back and said, woof, woof. So we don't know. He might show up. He might not. And so we got there and filmed a couple scenes before he showed up. But around 10, he showed up with coffee, and he was literally the nicest guy ever. I felt like we became friends. He actually showed up to one of my shows 6 months later and came out into the middle of the crowd during the song Rooftop. So it's pretty much one of my favorite moments in life.
I need you like birds need the sky.